And I'm kind of nervous, actually. This is a responsibility, but I'm just going to share from my heart what I believe to be the absolute truth of God. And that is that the family is the cornerstone of a good society. And so how do we secure the blessings in your marriage? This is based on a presentation that is given by a guy, Robert Kittle. And he's, for 30 years of his life, he's lived in Asia and the Middle East and the Far East, and he's been teaching character education. And he's been exposed not only to Christianity, but to many religions. So we're going to talk very briefly about these things. How can we solve the crisis in our world today? It's most essential that all faith traditions must work together. What is the crisis? We want world peace. Everybody talks about world peace, unification. Now, if you look in this room, the seeds of world peace are right in this room. I mean, I believe that we are getting along with each other. We haven't gotten into some deep conversations about certain things, but truly, artistically, based on the fact that we appreciate and value the idea of the family and parents, here we are, united. So how can we do that? First and foremost, before I say anything else, I want to make it very clear that I'm very confident that this universe was designed and created by the master of the universe, whom we call God.
Amen.
So God is the designer and the creator of this universe. Okay? Even in the beginning of the 20th century, science itself testifies that there was a beginning. We call it the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory says that approximately 13.7 billion years ago, there was nothing. And then out of nothing came everything. Science has no good explanation as to how this could possibly be. But logic tells us if there is an effect, there has to be a cause. All of us live in a world where we're cause and effect. How many of you here caused yourself to exist? None of us. We were caused to exist. And when you go back to the beginning, so before I say anything else, God is the designer and creator of the universe. First, let's identify what will not work. I'm going to say something very controversial here. Religion and theology will never be the basis for a unified world. Why? Religion and theology divide. Christianity, Catholic and Protestant. In Islam, the Sunnis and the Shias, Buddhists, the Mahayana, Theravada, Hinduism. And then how many denominations of Christianity are there? Over 300. So don't misunderstand. God is our parent. God is the designer and creator of the universe. But we're talking about something that involves us, human beings, trying to understand and make sense of our experience here. That's why we can say that the religion or theology is not a solution. Of course, through our religious faith, it directs us toward God. But honestly, look around the world and you see there's a problem. So what is the solution? We have to find something that is deeper than theology and deeper than religion. I would say God. God is much more than our theology or our religion. God is the designer and creator of everything. He is the scientist. He's the musician. He's the painter. He's the artist. He's the technician. He's the garbage collector. He's everything. And so we have to look to God, but we have to find values. When God designed and created this universe, He did it centered on absolute eternal principles of creation. He did it in a specific way. We don't have science if we don't have the reality that the universe exists in a very precise, lawful, orderly way. So we have to find what these values are, and they are the basis of our very existence. What are those values? Loving relationships. Okay, now we're getting close. We can't deny that we exist to find happiness and joy, and when we have loving and happy and meaningful relationships with each other, through your parent-child relationship or your brothers and sisters, then you find true joy. Every religion respects marriage. Every tradition. If there's one thing in common, if you go to any nation in the world, the poorest nations, the richest nations, whatever the culture, whatever the color of the skin of the people, family and marriage is honored and respected. The pair system. God designed and created the universe to exist in a pair system. In the animal world, male and female. Even in plants, the stamen and the pistil. Or even in the subatomic world. Cations, anions, atoms, protons, electrons, plus and minus, interaction, give and take, magnetism, the attraction force. And pairs reproduce. Reproduction. How long does it take to create a human being? Well, how long did it take God to create the first human being? Millions and millions and millions of years. Why? Because he had to create an environment. Even for this one planet Earth. You think about this one planet Earth that we live on. It seems, to the best of our ability to observe and learn, it's the only planet anywhere that has a system where life exists. The complexity of life on the earth is absolutely remarkable when you think about it. But it's just this one planet in the middle of almost an infinite universe, designed and created specifically and precisely by a God who had an intention and a purpose. And how does that purpose get fulfilled? It's in the family. The family is the school of love. And there are 4 very precise and important ways that we experience love in the family. And they're very specific, but they're very different and important. The first is a children's love. Once you're born, you just receive everything from your parents. You receive as a child. And then as you get a little older, you begin to realize you have a relationship with your siblings. And then eventually you become a teenager and you have this incredible attraction to the opposite sex. And when you unite with the opposite sex, it creates a conjugal relationship of love between man and woman. And then finally, the parental love itself. You started completely receiving love from your parents. But as we go through the process of life, then eventually the ideal is we become parents ourselves. We go through this growing process, 20, 30, 40 years, and we end up multiplying and becoming parents. So a family is like a building that has to have 2 things, pillars that are vertical and beams that are horizontal. The vertical pillars in the family are the parental love and the children's love. The parents unconditionally love their children. And they give, and they take care of the children. And the children inherit. That word inheritance, it's one of the most important words. To inherit. What do you inherit from your parents? Everything. The voice, the ability to think, language. They take care of you physically. Everything is inherited. It's passed on to you. And then children return. They return a certain joy to the parents as they start to grow because they reflect the nature of the parents back to them. The investment that the parents make in their children. The parents look into the eyes of their children and they see themselves. They see themselves because they are the creators of those children, and they inherit all the DNA, the incredible way that God created it to be. It's an amazing thing. It's a hierarchy, and this word is going to come up in the next few minutes again. A very important word, hierarchy. This is the pillar, but in order for a society to be stable, in order for a family to be stable, you have to have the balance. Brothers and sisters, as you grow up, what do you learn? The relationship between your siblings is not a hierarchical relationship. It's an equal relationship. You learn to share. You learn to appreciate. You learn to value. They're unique. They're different than you. But they are your brother or your sister. And so you learn how to interact. And then in the husband-wife relationship, is the husband better than the wife? It's not a hierarchical relationship. It's a equal relationship. Are they the same? Absolutely not. Do they have the same kind of position in the family? No. My daughter's, she's not in this room right now, she's pregnant, going to have a little boy. I mean, I'm a man, you know. My wife, she was pregnant at least twice and had 2 children. I never experienced that. So it's not an equal relationship, and yet the value is the same. That's the key. The value is the same. You can't have one without the other. The husband and wife, equality, overcoming prejudice. We learn these things. The father and the mother are equal. So that's the being. So the family is good. The family is not just good, the family is absolutely essential. If the family is so good, why does communism want to destroy it? Or why would anyone want to interfere or block or prevent the family from existing? You know, in the Communist Manifesto, and if you study certain teachings, ideologies, Marxism, Leninism, it's very interesting. They want to abolish the family, destroy religion, eliminate capitalism, overthrow the state. Why? What is the reason? It goes back to that word hierarchy. Think about this. Why? Because they all have hierarchy, and hierarchy is inherently unequal. Can you argue with that? No. Hierarchy is unequal. What about your parents? Parents have more authority, more responsibility, more financial assets, more experience, more education than the children. There is no equality between parents and children. None. There is a lot of hierarchy, right? I mean, if your parents don't take care of you from the day you're born, you can't exist. That's a hierarchical structure. But obviously, we know why it's good, right? Parental authority can be very good if parents are unselfish and use their power and authority to help the family members. Obviously, we want to have good parents. I believe, and I mean, it seems obvious to me, having been alive 71 years and observed families all through America. My wife and I lived for 6 years in Russia and Kyrgyzstan, and I'm telling you, the majority of parents and the majority of families are good. There's nobody out there trying to be bad, but sometimes it's bad. You get parents that are selfish, lazy, self-indulgent, You take drugs or prostitutes, drink, whatever, addicted to gambling, whatever. There's situations there where the parents are making it very, very difficult for their children to grow up and be good. But those are exceptions. The problem is not hierarchy. It's not a problem of hierarchy. The problem is selfishness, right? Or, if you're a Christian, if you want to put it in religious terms, let's call it sin. Let's call it the inability to get beyond your own concepts, your own thinking. So we live a life of selfishness. You know, it's my way or the highway. And sometimes this selfishness becomes very extreme. Extreme selfishness. Someone goes into a school with a gun and kills people. That's an extreme selfish, no concept of the other person. And these extremes are dangerous and deadly, but that's what we have to deal with. So the problem is how to overcome selfishness. It's easy to be selfish. That's why all the major religions, What do they teach? Live for the sake of others. The golden rule, right? Certainly Jesus was the greatest example of saying, love God with all your mind, with all your heart, with all your body, and then love other people as you would love yourself. Unselfishness. All major religions push that and promote that. And to that extent, to the way that religions teach that, we should welcome them and support them and encourage them and center it on the family. So the family is the key. The family is the key to the future of America. The family is the key to the future of the world. Your family is the key to whatever issues you're facing. And when we, as a group of people, come together, like today, celebrating Parents' Day, getting honor from the governor, from the mayors, from Mayor Cawley coming here, honoring, recognizing, appreciating, valuing, and insisting that we need to take responsibility to create good families. That's it. The problems in our world are going to be solved. Absolutely. The key, again, is to really love people and to love each other and to support each other's difficulties and sacrifices. You know, one family has a daughter who's very sick. She has cancer. So we pray, we support. Maybe we can help financially. Let them know, you know, there's people there that love and support and want to help. That kind of compassion, that kind of relationship, who created that compassion and that relationship? That's God. God is the one who began it by designing and creating a universe where you and I can sit in a room like this and enjoy music or enjoy eating a hamburger or just, you know, whatever it is you like to do. Every time, you just get out of bed in the morning and you stretch your arms or you breathe and you have a good smell or something tastes good or you hear something that's nice or someone says good words. Why are you able to experience that? Because you had parents. Because you had parents that gave birth to you and allowed you to come into existence. Even just to exist. We should be so grateful for that and give honor back to God, but also value and appreciate each other and the sacrifices you've made. That's why we honor and recognize grandparents. The grandparents deserve our respect and our honor. So this is the key. You know, why do we celebrate Parents' Day? It's because we believe this with all our heart. The family is the place in which God's ideal is realized. The greatest place of worship, the most holy place you will ever come to meet God is in your family. It's supposed to be in your family. Because how did God create people? How did God create me or you? He used your parents to do that. He did that with your parents. That's remarkable. Parents are co-creators with God. This isn't religion. It's not theology. It's reality. It's reality. And this is where we're at. So I hope and pray that this will stimulate you to stay involved and connected and continually celebrate parents and Parents' Day. And not just on the fourth Sunday of July, but please appreciate and value the parents, especially the children. But also, your parents are subjective sometimes. But even that, think about it. Parents are only in the hierarchical position with you temporarily. Because once you reach a certain age, 20, 25, whatever, you leave your home. God made it so that the man leaves, the woman leaves her family and she goes to be with her husband and they create a new family. And then your own children become parents. And then you as grandparents are kind of, you're on the side, actually, in a way. And what you did for them until that time, But now they're in the driver's seat. Now they're in the subject. You don't follow your kids around and tell them, you got to do this for your grandkids, or, they're responsible. So I hope that just this short presentation, my wife's giving me that sign. Anyway, bottom line, appreciate and value the family, because God is the designer and creator of this universe. But the most important thing that God created was the family, so that he could create you to become his son or his daughter. Thank you.